This is the review for Chapter 3. We've done all of these, 3.1, 3.2, added, subtracted. We've been working with decimals, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Sometimes estimating, sometimes getting the exact. But these are all the lessons you've gone through. I'm going to go through a few problems for each one, give you a little reminder. You can take notes on this lesson. Take notes in your math composition book. And then when you take the check-in, you can use those notes that you take from this to assist you as a resource. So if you have any questions, you go back and say, oh yeah, I took notes on this. This will help me. Okay, so go ahead and take notes on this stuff. It's important. Let's add and subtract decimals. I have two right here. This is an adding. This is a subtracting. The key with adding and subtracting decimals is to line up the decimal. Always line up the decimal. So when you're adding 10.75, I put my first number down there. Now, I'm going to put the decimal in line right here. Then I go to this 13.6. I see the 3 is right there, and then the 1 is right there, and then on the other side is the 6. Okay. Now, I don't have a digit here, but when there's nothing there, it means it's worth nothing, and the digit I would put to represent nothing is a 0. Now I just add. 5 plus 0, 5. 6 plus 7, 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 plus 1 is 2. The decimal just drops straight down like it's a heavy rock. Straight in line, boom, ends at into the number wherever it is. It lines up and goes right there. Okay? Now, let's do a subtraction one. 72.31 minus, now, this 14 here looks like it doesn't have a decimal, but every number has a decimal. It's right at the end, like a period of a sentence, because 14 is the same as 14.00. I could say like $14, and I would write it this way, or I could write $14 this way. So every number has a decimal at the end of it. Okay? So the decimals here, I want to line them up, and now I have a 4 there and a 1 there. Okay? So 72.31 minus 14. Okay? Now there's nothing here. What digit represents nothing? 0. Now I subtract. 1 minus 0, 1. 3 minus 0, 3. 2 minus 4 I can't do, so this becomes a 6 and a 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. 6 minus 1 is 5. My decimals drop right down like a big heavy rock and land there, and my answer is 58.31. So when you add and subtract decimals, you have to line up the decimal and drop it straight down. Okay? All right, let's go to 3.2, which is estimating products. Estimating, it's about the answer. It's not the exact. So if we have something like 7.7 times 4.1, I want to get the number pretty close to 7.7. It's either going to be 7 or 8. 7.7 is pretty close to 8. So I'm going to say that's the number I want. 8 times, it's either 4 or 5. 4.1 is right there. It's going to be pretty close to 4. So 7.7 times 4.1, it's about 32. It's not exact because I estimated, but I got numbers that were pretty close. It's easier for me to do 8 times 4 than it is to do 7.7 times 4.1 in my head. I can do that 8 times 4 in my head. It's a fact, and then I can get an estimate. So then when I actually do this the real way, 7.7 times 4.1, I can see, am I pretty close? Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's estimating products. Let's go to multiplying decimals by a whole number. Okay, so 7 is my whole number, 3.42. So I'm going to do 3.42 times 7. Now I don't even worry about the decimal. When you multiply, don't even worry about lining it up. Lining it up does not matter with multiplication. Okay? So you put the numbers together. I'm just going to ignore the decimal for a minute. 7 times 2, 14. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 is 29. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 23. Okay? I've done all the multiplication. Now I have to worry about the decimal. I'm going to bring it out of this top numbers, bring it out here, and put it in here. It's like I'm taking something from one room, putting it in the next room. So I take it out. 1, 2. I had to take it 2 to get it out. 2 out. So now I got to come into 1, 2. So my answer is 23.94. When you multiply decimals, however many times, you got to bring it out and then bring it in. Okay? And this next one is multiplying decimals by decimals. And you'll see how to take it out again and bring it back in. So let's do this next one. 8.3 times 5.6 happens to just line up decimals, but with multiplication it doesn't matter if they're lined up. You want the numbers, okay? You just want to multiply it. Pretend they're whole numbers. Don't worry about lining up decimals. Okay, 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49. Add my 0. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 1 is 41. Okay, I'm going to add these up. That's 8, 14, that's 6, and that's 4. Now, I got to pull it out. 1, 2. The top one has 1 coming out. The bottom one has 1 coming out. A total of 2 out, so 2 in. 1, 2. All right, 46.48. Now, the way I can see if I think I'm pretty good, 8.3 times 5.6. This is pretty close to 8 times 6. 8 times 6, that's 48. That's about 48. It's not the exact answer. So when I did the exact answer, I got 46.48. 46, pretty close to 48. I got it. I can feel good about that answer. Okay? So that is these first 4 lessons we did. Adding, subtracting decimals, and then multiplying decimals by decimals and whole numbers. Okay? The last 4 lessons were all about dividing and finding quotients. Okay? So I'm going to stop at this point. I'm going to write some new problems, and we will do the second part of this video will be on 3.5 through 3.8.